Leo, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Solari Tarot. It's Greg here. Can you believe it? I'm back. We are here to do your reading for September 2022, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Folks, if you are interested in where I've been, what's been going on in my life, I just posted a video called Whisper of the Gods. I would love for you to check it out. It just helps you understand the journey I've been on. It was a solitary one, and yeah, just go watch the video. It'll tell you everything you need to know. If you're new to the channel, please make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'm so happy to be back. I'm so excited to get into your reading. We're gonna do things a little bit differently than we used to. We're gonna start with your astrology. And I've pulled you some oracle cards here, and then we're gonna pull you a full spread of tarot. Yes, so let's get started. Let's see what we got. Leo, actually, starting with your astrology, this is an interesting month for you, I gotta say. You might be making a lot of memories this month. You might be remembering a lot about this time. It feels like a really, I don't know why I wanna say aesthetical time, but you're feeling the aesthetic of what you're going through right now. Now, on September 2nd, there could be some really unpredictable shifts taking place. And this is because Mercury is opposing Jupiter in your 9th house of spontaneity and adventure. So I think that you might need to be going with the flow. Here's why. Because if you can get through all this unexpected stuff that's taking place, some really big blessings could be happening for you at this time. And this month might feel like it's a lot of ups and downs, but I think by the end of it, you're gonna really understand why. You might find some beautiful truths, and truth is something that we're gonna talk about in your reading today. Now, Mercury stations retrograde on September 9th, and this could leave you feeling confounded, confused about what's going on. This is gonna be in your 3rd house of logic and communication. This could mean people are misunderstanding what you're saying. This could mean there are just misunderstandings in general. Some of this could feel very under your skin, like you really don't like it. You could just not be knowing exactly what path you're on. It might be better during the retrograde as you slow down, as we all will be doing, to give yourself some time to process it all and to not really react in the moment. Because if you give things the ability to work, they probably will. But we're gonna have to do it in a retrograde kind of way. Now, you have a full moon in Pisces this month on the 10th, the day after retrograde stations direct. This is in your 8th house of death and rebirth. And you might be purging toxic stuff. You might be letting stuff go. Crappy jobs, crappy relationships, crappy behaviors, crappy thoughts. And you had a card that came out twice in your pre-shuffle very intensely. So we're gonna talk about that in a moment, but it does have to do with this moon in Pisces around the 10th. If there's something that's going nowhere, you need to start rethinking it. So around the middle of the month on the 18th, Mercury retrograde is gonna oppose Jupiter, and you're gonna be nostalgic. This is that classic Mercury retrograde, things from the past popping back up. However, for you this month, I think it's gonna be that you're going to the places of the past. Maybe you're going to your hometown and you're seeing all of your old haunts. You know, there's a reason why we call them that. You might be getting lost in the past. You might need to surrender to what the universe is trying to show you about your past. This is a common thing that happens at Mercury retrograde, but you're the first sign that I've seen so far for the month that it's happening in this way. You're getting signs, right, around the 18th. Now, Venus is opposing Neptune in your 8th house of intimacy and wealth, shared wealth. So be careful about lowering your boundaries for somebody who hasn't earned their keep or hasn't earned their place in your life. Somebody might be trying to sweet talk you into something that's not exactly true, or something that you don't want to do or that you don't feel aligned with. So pay attention to that. Now, at the end of the month, lastly, we have a new moon in Libra, second house of money and self-esteem on the 25th. And you're putting the pedal to the metal. You're setting goals. You're getting things done. You're feeling good about yourself. You know, you're feeling that solar return power, right? And it looks really good for a lot of us at the end of the month. After that new moon in Libra, it looks like the harshness of the retrograde starts to slow down a little bit. So that's exciting. Now, I want to move into your oracle cards because they talk a lot about this very astrology that we're looking at here this month. Your animal totem, formidably, for the month is the turtle. Slow and steady wins the race, it says here. Sorry, my camera focus is like crap. I love this totem for you in the month. It's not native to your kind of energy, right? This is certainly not Leo energy, but I'm a Scorpio and I'm similar to you and a Leo moon. But I relate to this in terms of that it is best at this time to really slow things down. All of us are having to do this at retrograde. It's common, it's normal. But for you this month, it is all about keeping things, you know, at equilibrium and making sure that you're just getting things done. And, you know, you may see turtles, you may have turtles around you, or, you know, you may, I don't know. But the turtle's gonna be your guiding spirit for the month. Now, in your Norse god cards from a deck I have here, you pulled two. And you have Skrimir, which is deception or undermining of confidence. And you have Durin, the doorkeeper, navigation. Really this month, Leo, we are moving through the doorway towards the end of it, especially around that new moon in Libra, where we're seeing quite obviously the power that we have in the world. Now, I mentioned to you there could be some sweet talking, there could be some deception, there could be some elements from the past that you're returning to here in the month. And as I was meditating and doing your pre-shuffle for the tarot, the Devil card came out twice. It came out and then I put it back in and then it literally just a few shuffles later came out again. And sorry guys, I don't know what's up with this camera today. But look, there is this sense that we're still tied to something. There's still just something around that does not have an appropriate place in our lives. Now with the Devil, as you can see here in the card, these two people are chained to him. He owns them. So this card can talk about a range of different things. Rarely the Devil. It talks about addiction. And it talks about addiction to people. To modalities, ways of being, addictions to, obviously, quite frankly, alcohol, drugs, any kind of thing that's keeping us bound to the circumstance that we're in. And this month, there are a few downs for you. There are a few down dips. To be fair, really this is the collective because I've seen these up and downs for almost every sign that I've done readings for this month. It's in the astrology and the tarot. This Mercury retrograde is just kind of piggybacking off the one we had earlier in the year, and we're still solving some things in our lives. We're still figuring out the truth, which leads me to your archetype card that came out, Aletheia. Now this card is all about truth. Our soul recognizes the truth. When someone speaks it, a cool wave of relief washes over the room and all facts and figures in the world fall to the wayside. This is the power of Aletheia. It has undeniable resonance that goes beyond the rational. It's also contagious. When we hear someone speak the truth, we see the truth within ourselves, and we're more likely to tell our own story. This card requires us to step toward an act of truth. It might look like a conversation, a gesture, a poetic act, or a ritual that honors the unveiling of what's been concealed. Reclaiming your own truth is a way to reclaim your vital energy, health, and sense of belonging in the world. Truth has its own wings. Set it free. What is the bottom line here in the month of September, Leo? Let's get into the tarot and let's find out. What is our message? Because we're going to kind of reference this devil card because it's coming out quite forcefully, and I think it's exacerbating your progress, or your lack of progress, rather. So let's see. What is our message for Leo, September 2022? Deep breaths, everyone. Leo, September 2022. Okay, starting off with the Hangman. Let's go. Let's go. Definitely pay attention to your perception this month. I don't think tarot should ever make us paranoid, but there are a few signs this month and this particular retrograde energy that are dealing with the possibility of deception, especially around this full moon in Pisces, which happens on the 10th. We have Justice that came out for you as well. So we have 3 major arcana cards here. And I'm actually going to go ahead and just put the devil in the spread. So we start off with 3 major arcanas. This is big, intense, shifting energy for you here. In the heart, we have Justice. Now, this is the card of karma and cause and effect. And this card, guys, is all about you kind of getting the action into which, how do they say it? You reap what you sow. And I think whatever you have sown, and I think for a lot of you, this is good stuff because you have the doorkeeper here. You are walking through doors, perhaps not as quickly as you thought you would, but you're still walking through doors this time. Now, if you have any legal disputes going on, you may have a wretched enemy here. You may have a wretched thing to beat, the demon to beat here in the month of September. And for a lot of you, I think that this devil could be the past, right? Especially around the 18th of September. I think that there's a lot of you learning how the past does still kind of matter in the way that you can trace back the steps of your journey and how it progressed, or how you were inhibited or afforded, either one, right? The Hanged Man is one of my favorite cards in the tarot, and it's also one of the most misunderstood cards. This is your search for the truth here, even if there is deception afoot. And I don't always see the Hanged Man as a card of truth, but I do today, and here's why. This card and the idea of it references heavily the story of the great All-Father Odin. Now, Odin made a great sacrifice. He pierced himself with a spear and he hung himself from the great world tree Yggdrasil for 9 days and 9 nights. And it's said that in this great sacrifice, Odin was given the knowledge and wisdom of the runes and their magic and their power. He was assisted by Freya, who would assist him in learning how to create a magical system out of these runes. But the card is one of surrendering to the truth, to the true perception of what you're seeing. Making a sacrifice. When I read Aletheia, this really beautiful card here, I read it out to you because in this deck, it's the Archetypes deck from Kim Kranz, and the entries are so gorgeous. But it is about that ritual of truth. Some of you could be performing this month rituals, veritas rituals of truth, to get down to the bottom line for yourself. This is not just the lies that other people are telling us, Leo. This is often us undermining ourselves because of the lies that we're telling ourselves. And I think you're coming back to a baseline place here. I think you're seeing things for what they are. And I think it's going to be towards the end of the month, and you could feel at the beginning and middle of the month that things are moving quite slowly. You might not love that, right? But I think there is still a doorway that's opening for you here this month, towards the end of it. right around the time of that Libra new moon. Let's pull a second row, Leo. This is big energy, guys. And this is really, if you're in a legal dispute and you might beat your demon here this month, you might win, you might get a victory. Tell me about Leo. We have the Knight of Cups sitting in the heart. Okay, we have the Tower. Oh, and we have the Fool. Ooh, starting fresh. Also forgiving ourselves and giving ourselves the space to slow down during this retrograde. And, you know, I almost see someone going back to their hometown and they're walking around all of these, like I said before, old haunts. And they're seeing their past in a way they hadn't seen it before. And it does bring a little shame to the surface of maybe perhaps mistakes that you've made, Leo. Mistakes some of us have made. Things that we've done. Decisions we wish we'd made differently. Justices that were reversed, right? That didn't work out for us. Because we didn't have the space to understand. And I think all of this coming to the forefront might feel like such an explosive moment or so chaotic. And I'm here to remind you this month that this is not necessarily the case. All chaos is like your world's not crumbling down around you. I think it's almost like you're going back to the rubble of an old structure that was built in your life, and you're seeing why it had to come down and why it had to end and why what happened had to happen. Some of you might be wanting to make peace with someone. You might be wanting to, and it could be a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. You might be wanting to just be clean. You know, it's funny because in this kind of combination of the cards, we see that this inevitable chaotic moment that has to happen is followed by a fresh, clean, purified, sanctified state. A place where we can begin again and make a new decision for ourselves. Some of you may be going on a great journey. You may be releasing the ties that bind, right? And you might be bravely going ahead. Now, travel's not heavy in your astrology here for the month. But so I think that this is, if it is physical travel, wonderful. The doorkeeper is sending you on a new physical journey, great. Remember to be justified in your movements on that journey. But for a lot of you, I think that this is just a journey back to the primordial essence of so many things in your evolution that led you to where you are now. And I think that there's a big releasing that's taking place as well. Now, let's pull our third and final row. Let's see what we got. Yeah, these readings are dense for everybody, so don't feel bad. This Mercury retrograde is restructuring a lot of stuff for a lot of us. I think the only thing I haven't done are the air signs. But this retrograde, you know, okay, here we go. See, this is the thing. We have the Eight of Swords. Guys, this Eight of Swords is all about self-imposed restriction. It's about mental health issues or the negative voice within us that makes us lie to ourselves about who we are. And I think you've been through so many things, and that perspective is starting to shift. I think it's like you're coming out of survival mode here at the end of September. And I think you almost don't even know how to function because you've been in survival mode for so long. And it looks like, you know, you're starting to break the chains of the ties that bind here this month. I think you're looking at how you've treated yourself. You know, I'm almost seeing like somebody who's been really hard on themselves, really critical of themselves. You know, I think you're going to get to a moment here in the month where you say, actually, I am not this broken thing. Like, I know who I am. And it does look like that is your astrology when Libra is sending power to your second house of self-esteem, September 25th. And you're learning who you can rely on and who you can't rely on. And, you know, obviously I think there's a good possibility this devil card for some of you could be a person in your life. Or a job, or something that you're like, just, it's like sucking the life out of you, right? Some way of being that just can't continue on in the way that it has continued on. We have the Four of Pentacles. You know, I think that there's this withholding happening. Could be with somebody around you, Leo. Could certainly be you. I think in some way we might be afraid to step out of our comfort zone and go on that fool's journey, right? Because it does require us to finally break the ties that bind. And I've said that phrase so many times in this reading for a reason, because there's something it's like you're reaching out to create something, and something is pulling you back to basics every time. And it has something to do with your past. And you know, it's almost like Spirit wants to say, you've been working on trying to heal so many of these parts of yourselves. And even though you may feel tower moments here in the month of September, it's also kind of reminding you, yeah, but don't you remember that tower moment in 2018? Don't you remember this journey that led you here? Don't you remember that you know, dinner spot you can't walk into now because it's associated with a person no longer in your life? You know, I think that it's some of these things that are coming to the surface. Okay. Now we have the Three of Cups and the Knight of Swords. This is closing us out, folks. There will be moments to celebrate here towards the end of the month, and there will be victories on your part this month. But, you know, I'm hearing a person that's been telling themselves for a long time that somebody is different than they actually are. Definitely a message coming out. Something could pop off this month where you're getting your karma back for somebody that might have really wronged you or hurt you in some way. You might be celebrating this. This might be a person who's been going through a divorce settlement for a long time, and there's finally some money allotted to them. Or there's finally some settlement in terms of like a closing cycle. You know, we have the Tower and the Fool. It's like it all comes up to a big moment that allows for a brand new beginning to unfold. You're gonna see a little glimpse of that at the beginning of the month on the 2nd. And this is the 1st as I'm filming this. So, yeah, around the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, I would pay right before Mercury goes retrograde. I would look at unexpected things happening that do lead to really beautiful experiences, because you do have the Fool, the Three of Cups, new journeys unfolding and new things happening. But I think there's this important thing you need to tell yourself that is just the truth. It just is what it is. And I think that we're gonna see some astrology in October that some of it is going to be really good. We do have Mars moving into Gemini, which is going to have a long trend for all of us, but you as well, because typically typically Mars stays in a sign for 6 to 7 weeks, but it's going retrograde. So it's going to be there for 7 months, which is intense. So we're going to see some long-term trends that we're going to be talking about in October. So I would like for you to take your time this month to look at where justice just needs to be served and let your perspective shift. And you know, also a message of like not calling attention to your weaknesses here, right? Leo, I love you. I'm happy to be back on the channel. It is my intention to be posting videos more frequently than like one every 6 months. life has taken me on many journeys, and now I have the time available in my life to do this. I'm very thankful for that, actually. So here I am. I love you. Let me know in the comments how you feel about this reading and what you're going through, and start up a conversation like you guys always have. Also, let me know what kind of videos you would like to see. I'm going to be posting different kinds of stuff every week. It is my aspiration to be doing this. And I would like to do some vlogs for you, just like, spirit tarot in action, really. Maybe I'm onto something. Taking these readings of sitting down with me and putting them in action in your life, rather than just watching 10 tarot card readings, let's make this a healthy place to be on YouTube, yes? So it's not spinning us out of momentum of what we really want to create by making us hold on to the past, because that is a message for you here this month, okay? I love you. Next week, it is my intention to film you a topic video about one of the upcoming Sabbats called Mabon. So let me know how you feel about that in the comments. I love you. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.